Quotidian Theater Company's presentation of Anton Chekov's The Lady with the Little Dog, as a courtesy to the actors and other members of the audience. Please silence all electronic devices now. Thank you.
Gavarili što na nabrežnoj, a javilo novije lico, ama sobačno. It was said a new face had appeared on the seafront. A lady with a little dog. Dmitri Dmitrich Gurov, already 2 weeks in Yalta and accustomed to its ways, also began to take an interest in new faces. Sitting in Vernay's pavilion, he saw, walking along the seafront, a tall, dark-haired young woman in a black beret. A white Pomeranian scampered before her. And afterwards, he ran into her several times in the public gardens and square. She was always alone, wearing the same beret and accompanied by her little dog. No one knew who she was, so they referred to her simply as
the lady with the little dog.
She is here without her husband, or friends. It might be worth making her acquaintance.
Dmitri was not yet 40, but he already had a 12-year-old daughter and 2 school-age sons. He had married young, while still a student in his 2nd year. And now his wife seemed half again as old as he. She was a short, exceedingly erect woman with imperious dark eyebrows. Dignified and, as she called herself, an intellectual. She read a great deal, was familiar with the latest technology, and she called her husband,
Not Dmitri.
but as they say in the West,
Dmitri. Dmitri, I picked up the wrong journal. Would you hand me the correct one, please? Not the book, the journal. Russian thought was right, sir. There is an article on Turgenev and translated.
and he secretly considered her unintelligent, inelegant, and narrow-minded. He feared her and hated being at home. He had been deceiving her for years, and it was probably for this reason that he almost always referred to women as
The inferior race.
He felt his bitter experience with them allowed him to call them whatever he liked, and yet he could not survive 2 days without them. In the company of men, he was usually bored, ill at ease, cold and uncommunicative. But with women, he was completely himself, knew what to do, what to say. Even being silent with them was easy. He knew his good looks and charm attracted women to him, but it was his elusive manner that made him truly irresistible. And he hadn't the will to resist being captivated by them in return.
Bitter experience taught me long ago that with decent people, especially indecisive Muscovites like myself, slow on the uptake, every intimacy, which at first seems like a charming, pleasant diversion, inevitably becomes an enormous, excruciating headache.
But at each new encounter with an interesting woman, this experience simply vanished, and everything once again seemed So simple and amusing. Bonsoir, madame. Et bonsoir, monsieur. Ça va? Voulez-vous une table?
Oui, s'il vous plaît.
Voilà.
Bonsoir.
Voulez-vous une carte?
Non, merci. Je voudrais le plat du jour, s'il vous plaît.
Bien sûr. Monsieur, plus de café?
Ah non, 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 l'addition, s'il vous plaît.
Most of the stories one heard in Yalta concerning the questionable virtues of its summer visitors were untrue. I despised them and knew, for the most part, they had been fabricated by those who would themselves have fallen, no, leapt, gladly from grace, given the chance. All the same, when this lady sat down at the table so closely neighboring mine, the seductive thought of a brief, fleeting affair, of a romance with a total stranger, whose name I did not know, suddenly seized hold of me.
Il ne meurt pas.
Я русский.
Ja, тоже.
May I give him a bone? Have you been in Yalta long?
5 days.
I'm already whiling away my second week here.
Time goes quickly here, and yet it's so boring.
That's just the thing to say here. Provincials, content with their backwoods existence in Gizdra or Saratov, come here and it's, oh, how boring, oh, the dust. One would think they come from Granada.
Pardon, monsieur. Je suis désolé.
Yes. The heat makes my hotel room unbearable until the evening.
Yes. Still a little sultry enough. May I join you? Strange light on the water this evening. Reminds me of one of Levitan's seascapes.
Well, I was just thinking that to me it looks more like the work of Ivazovsky.
Yes. Yeah, I agree completely.
The color and composition remind me of his Sunsets at Sea. I grew up in St. Petersburg and am a great admirer of Ivazovsky's paintings in the Russian Museum there. He lives down here by the Black Sea in Feodosia. Did you know? Are you an artist?
No, but I did study art at Moscow University, where I took a degree in languages. Que vous avez été témoin. I even studied for a while to be a singer with a private opera company. But I gave it all up to become a banker. So now I own 2 houses in Moscow, where I live. But I no longer sing. So you're from St. Petersburg?
Yes, I spent most of my life there, but I moved a couple of years ago to Saratov. I moved to Saratov when I married. My husband works in the local government there. Well, I forget exactly where. He has a position in either the provincial government or the provincial district council. He may join me near the end of my stay, since I'll be here a month. He would like a bit of a rest as well. It's time to say good night, I think. My name is Anna Sergeyevna.
Dmitri Dmitrievich. Good night, Anna Sergeyevna.
Good night, Dmitri Dmitrievich.
Later at his hotel, he thought about her. How they would certainly meet again the next day. It was bound to happen. Getting ready for bed, it struck him.
It's not long since she was at school, doing lessons like my own daughter. How shy and awkward she is, conversing with a stranger. Sure, this must be her first time alone in such circumstances.
Where she's followed about, leered at, and addressed by those whose motives
However innocent.
she could not fail to discern. He recalled her slender, delicate neck, her lovely gray eyes.
All the same, there's something sad about her. Syrup and ice with me in Renee's pavilion. You know, it's been 1 week since we first met at Vernet's. I brought you this in honor of the occasion.
In the evening, when the wind had quieted down, they headed toward the pier to watch the steamer come in. A crowd had gathered to welcome the passengers, and it was impossible not to notice two unique peculiarities of the well-dressed Yalta crowd. The elderly ladies dressed as young ones, and there were a great many admirals.
Welcome.
Good to see you, Anton.
Thank you.
The weather is more tranquil this evening. Would you like to go somewhere? We could take a... Let's go to your hotel.
Stuffy in her room, and the sweet scent of the sandalwood incense purchased by Anton at the Japanese shop that afternoon hung in the air. Looking at her now, I thought, what different people one encounters in life. I recalled all those carefree, good-natured women who would love me cheerfully, grateful for the happiness I gave them, however brief. And those, like my wife, who loved without any true feeling, affectedly, hysterically, and with too much chatter, indicating that what we shared was not mere passion, but something more significant. And then there were 2 or 3 exceedingly beautiful, cold women I had known, no longer in their first youth, across whose faces would occasionally fleet a rapacious, obstinate desire to snatch from life more than I could give. These were shallow, capricious, controlling, and irrational women, so that when the passion died, their beauty provoked my hatred, and the lace on their undergarments looked like scales. But here, as before, there was that same diffidence, that awkwardness of inexperienced youth, as well as a feeling of discomfort and anxiety, as if someone might unexpectedly knock at her door. Anna Sergeyevna's reaction to what had happened between us struck me as strange and inappropriate, and her dejected pose reminded me of one of the Pre-Raphaelites' fallen women.
You must despise me.
How could I despise you? You don't know what you're talking about.
May God forgive me. It's horrible.
It seems to me you think you need to be forgiven for what has happened.
No, I will not begin to defend my behavior. It's not my husband who I've deceived, but myself. And not only now, I've been deceiving myself for a long time. My husband may be a good, honest man, but he is a lackey. I don't know what he does at work, what his job is, but I do know he is a lackey. I was 20 when I married him, tormented by yearning. I knew there had to be a better way to live. There has to be something better, I kept telling myself. There has to be. You don't understand, but I swear I couldn't control myself. But I was obsessed. And finally, I couldn't keep silent anymore. I told my husband I was ill, and I came here. Here I've been walking around in a daze like a mad woman. And now I've become a vulgar, loathsome person whom anyone can despise.
It's true, I don't understand. What is it you want?
Please believe me, I love everything in life that is decent and true. Sinfulness and deceit are abhorrent to me. I don't know what I'm doing. Simple folks say the evil one has
cheeks are salty. Tell me, what else do the simple folks say?
Afterwards, when they went out, not a soul was on the seafront. The town with its cypresses appeared completely dead. Yet the waves still crashed against its shore, and a lantern blinked sleepily from the lone barge rocking upon the water. They found a cab and drove to Orianda.
Saw your name on the slate at the hotel. Von Diederitz. Is your husband German?
No, I believe his grandfather was German, but he's Russian Orthodox himself.
Yalta was barely visible through the morning mist. The dull, monotonous sound of the sea rose up from below, speaking of the peace, the eternal sleep that awaits us all. As it sounded now, so it sounded before Yalta or Orianda existed, and would continue to sound, hollow and indifferent, when we are no more. And in this constant, this complete indifference to the life and death of each of us lies buried perhaps the promise of our eternal salvation, the never-ending progression and advancement of life on earth towards perfection.
Enchanting. What is it?
I was just thinking, in essence, everything on earth is beautiful. Everything except, perhaps, what we ourselves do and think when we forget our loftier goals, our human dignity.
There's dew on the grass.
Yes. It's time to go home.
After that, they met every day at noon on the seafront, lunched and dined together, went for walks, admired the sea. She complained that
Couldn't sleep.
that her heart beat.
Violently.
She had fits of
Jealousy.
followed by the fear he no longer
Respecting.
her sufficient. And frequently, in the public gardens and square, when no one was watching, he would suddenly complete idleness,
Kisses in broad daylight.
looking round, dreading someone had seen them.
The heat,
The-
smell of the sea.
The constant flashing before their eyes of the idle, well-dressed, well-fed crowd made a new man of him. He repeatedly told Anna Sergeyevna
How beautiful, how seductive,
he was impulsive.
passionate,
He would not,
step from her side.
while she was,
Pensive.
and repeatedly urged him to,
Confess. Do not respect. Do not love me in the least.
and urged him
You think that I am a common woman.
to. Late every evening they would drive somewhere to,
Orianda.
or,
The waterfall.
and the expedition was always a success, and the scenery invariably impressed them as
Grand. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
My dearest wife, I regret to inform you that a severe affliction in my eyes prevents me from joining you in Yalta. I appeal to you to return home as soon as possible. Your husband, Alexei Alexandrovich.
It's from my husband. I must go. It's fate.
Wait. I'll go with you. It's a long way to the station.
You had better go. That's the second bell. Let me look at you once more for the last time. There. I will remember you, think of you. God be with you. Be happy. Don't think badly of me. We will never see each other again.
It's over. The madness. Sweet delirium. She didn't see me as I really am, so I unintentionally deceived her. Time for me to head north. High tide.
At home in Moscow, everything was as it is in winter. The frosts had already started.
To ride in a sleigh again, to breathe in the sweet, invigorating air, see the snow on the rooftops and the sidewalks, be transported back to one's youth. The old lindens and birches, white with hoarfrost, have a familiar, good-natured air to them. They're nearer your heart than palms and cedars. And surrounded by them, the longing for the mountains and the sea fades away.
Dubov was a Muscovite, and sledding down Chekov Street on a Saturday night, listening to the church bells peal, his recent trip and the places he'd been lost all charm for him.
Antosha!
Dmitri!
Здравствуйте!
Здравствуйте.
Haven't seen you since Yalta.
Oh,
You must come by the house this evening. We are entertaining some of Moscow's most illustrious artists.
Oh, well.
And just for you, we'll invite some bankers and lawyers as well. Afterwards, we'll go to the club and play cards.
Oh, yes. Hey, Dmitri, I was curious. That young woman in Yalta, what of her?
Only a memory.
Dubov expected that after a month, the memory of Anna Sofyevna would fade from consciousness. She, like the others, would appear
Oh, we're getting to supper. You mustn't stay up too late tonight. Dimitri, I'm so excited. I'm rehearsing for our party this evening. Beethoven Princess Sonata. Look. It's thrilling. This sonata, this music, what is it doing?
She wrote the initial letters. I, Y, C, F, A, F, W, H. This meant, if you could forget and forgive what happened. He snatched the chalk with nervous, trembling fingers and wrote the initial letters of the following phrase. I have nothing to forget and to forgive. I have never ceased to love you.
Dimitri, I discovered Vanya reading your copy of Anna Karenina today. Do you consider the sordid history of an adulterous woman an appropriate reading for a young boy? And anyway, I thought you prefer newspapers to novels.
In my opinion, Tolstoy, not Turgenev, is Russia's greatest writer. Next to his Anna, your Turgenev's gentlewomen, seductive shoulders and all, vanish in thin air.
The role of a lady killer does not suit you, Dimitri.
Gurov's memories of Anna became more vivid. She appeared even lovelier and gentler than she was, and he seemed better than he had been as well.
Forgive me. Anna? Anna! An intense desire to speak with someone about Anna Sergeyevna tormented me. But what could I say at home? There was no one outside the house to speak with either. Not my clients, nor anyone at the bank. And what was there to speak about? Had I really been in love? Had there been anything beautiful, poetical, edifying, or simply interested in my relationship with Anna Sergeyevna? All I could do was talk about love, about women in the vaguest of terms. And no one had a clue what I meant. So much has been written about love in music and literature.
So far, there is only one inconclusive fact about love. It is a great mystery. All else written or said about it is inconclusive, merely a statement of those questions which remain unanswered. An explanation which seems to fit one case does not fit a dozen others. The very best thing to my mind would be to explain each case individually without attempting to generalize. We ought, as the doctors say, to individualize each case.
True.
We Russians of the educated class have a penchant for these unanswered questions. We adore our with these monumental questions, focusing on the least interesting of them. When we're in love, we never tire of asking, where is this love fitting? Is it honorable or dishonorable, sensible or stupid, and so on. Whether this is a good thing or not, I don't know, but I do know that it is frustrating, irritating, and unsatisfying.
If only you knew what an If only you knew what an enchanting woman I met last summer in Yalta.
Ooh.
It's even difficult for me to put into words what seemed so extraordinary about her. It seemed that she and I had known each other for
Perhaps a bit too much vodka tonight. Oh. Over noche. Dmitri, you were right this evening.
about what?
The sturgeon was a bit too strong.
These words, so ordinary, struck me as filthy, degrading. What people! What savage manners! The insane card playing, the gluttony, the drunkenness, the never-ending chatter, always about one and the same thing, absorbing the better part of your time, the better part of your strength. So all that remains is a life spent groveling, worthless, wasted, trivial. And it's impossible to run away or escape, as if you were confined to a madhouse or a prison camp.
Gurov did not sleep at all that night. He was filled with indignation. His head ached all the next day, and that night he slept
Badly,
He sat up in bed,
thinking,
or
paced the room from end to end. He was sick of his,
children.
sick of,
Bank,
had no desire to
go anywhere or talk about anything.
I have to go to St. Petersburg to take care of some business affairs for a young friend.
He set off for Saratov.
What for?
He did not know for sure himself. He wanted to see Anna Sergeyevna, to talk with her, to arrange a meeting if possible. Guten Morgen. Oh, for you, the best room in the hotel, huh? Yeah. Yeah. Bitte.
Would you happen to know the address of a von Diederitz?
Oh, no, yeah. Everyone knows where von Diederitz lives, eh? In a house near the hotel. Oh, yes, he lives in grand style, too. has his own horses. Gray army cloth covered the floor, matching the gray dust that covered the little table and the statue of the headless horseman resting upon it.
One would run away from such offense. It's a government holiday. Her husband's probably at home. Anyway, it would be rude to go up to the door and upset her.
Oh.
I could send a note into her. It would probably end up in her husband's hands and ruin everything. The best thing would be to leave it to chance. It must be Uncle Sergei to play
He doesn't bite.
I remember. She has forgotten you. She has forgotten you and is most likely already amusing herself with someone else. What would be more natural for a spirited young woman with nothing to look at from day till night but that damn gray fence? Что делать? What now? Who's there? Спасибо.
That's that.
Stupid and frustrating this all is. Already dark. Well, for some reason you've had yourself a nice long nap. So what are you going to do this evening? So much for your lady with the little dog. So much for your big adventure. The geisha opens this evening. Anna Sergeyevna might be at the premiere.
The house was filled, and as is often the case in these provincial theaters, a haze hung above the chandeliers. The gallery fussed about noisily. The young dandies, hands clasped behind their backs, stood in the front row before the performance. The governor's daughter, in a feather boa, sat in the front of the governor's box, while the governor himself hid modestly behind the portiere with only his hands showing behind the curtain. The curtain swayed, the orchestra tuned for a very long time. The audience filtered in to find their seats. Gurov searched for Anna Sergeyevna.
My heart ached as I watched her take her seat. This frail, rather ordinary young woman, with a vulgar lorgnette in her hand, was my whole world now. My grief, my my joy, my sole happiness.
I'm going to the lobby for a smoke.
Good evening.
Both rushed aimlessly, down corridors, up stairways,
Kings upstairs,
past the
back
fur cloaks piled on the walls.
and the gaggles of women.
Dressed in their provincial finery.
The legions of men, resplendent in their legal, academic, and civil service uniforms, festooned with medals, ribbons, and badges.
God, why are all these people here? And that orchestra?
Screaming nice, Raleigh, why have you
No,
done
Prometio, understand.
Just were dying. I think only of you, and I wanted to forget. We are out of our moments. You must leave now. Malign ones. Someone's coming. You must go to be treated in speech. I will come to you in Moscow, I promise. But for now we must part. My dear, good man. We must part. I must go. I must leave.
My dear, I applaud your effort to accommodate me this evening by escorting me to the premiere, despite your delicate frame of mind. However, there are certain laws of propriety which one cannot cross with impunity. This evening, judging by the impression you created, I am not the only one who noticed it. All did. You did not conduct yourself at all in a proper manner. Not only my esteemed department director, but His Excellency, the governor, were present at the theater tonight, could not have failed to notice. I need not remind you that our position in Saratov society depends in large part on the good offices of these illustrious individuals. Therefore, it is incumbent upon us that my dear,
I must confess to you, Alexei Alexandrovich. I must tell you. I can't. I'm so unhappy, Alexei. Last summer, I told you I was ill. I said that I needed to get away, but well, there's a doctor in Moscow.
you must go, then.
Anna Sergeyevna began to visit girl every 2 or 3 months in Moscow. She always stayed at the Slavyansky Bazaar Hotel. She told her husband that she was seeing a doctor about her condition. Her husband believed her and did not believe her.
I got your letter today. The first since your departure. Read it and reread it. After leaving you at the station, I drove home lonesome and out of sorts. I keep thinking the door will open and you will walk in, but you won't. You are in Saratov, far from Moscow, and far from me.
Your letter with a kiss from my right temple arrived. In gratitude for remembering me, I am sending you 1,000,000 good wishes. Everything is just as it has been. I am not expecting anything other than the bad weather just around the corner. Don't forget me. P.S. You promised me your picture. I am still waiting.
I don't go to the club anymore, but stay home and think of you. Driving past the Slavyansky Bazaar, thought of you, and our time together there.
I hear Moscow is unpleasant now and I should not travel there, but I should so like to leave Saratov. There was a fire last night. I got up to watch it from the balcony and felt so terribly alone.
I understand your feeling. But in your place, I wouldn't be in such a desperate fear. Your job is to jog along, day in and day out. Still, I can't reconcile myself to the fact that I won't be seeing you until spring. I've grown used to you. I miss you terribly when you're not here. Puts me in quite a bad humor. If my wife only knew what was in my soul, there would be quite a scandal.
I had decided not to write you, but since you sent your picture, I lifted the ban. I sensed something strange and elusive in your last letter, leading me to conclude you weren't in good spirits. You must follow your own counsel to jog along day in and day out. My dear, do write, or I shall be lonesome.
Having arrived at the Slavyansky Bazaar, Anna would at once send a man in a red cap to Gurr. Gurr went to visit her, and no one in Moscow knew about it. One morning in late March, he decided to walk his daughter to school on the way to see Anton. Snow was falling in big wet flakes. It's 3 degrees above freezing, and yet it's snowing?
It's warm only on the surface of the earth. High in the atmosphere, it's quite a different temperature.
Why is there no thunder in winter, Papa?
Thunder is caused by storms, and storms in the center of Russia happen only in the summer. Now it appears we've arrived at our destination.
Goodbye, Papa.
How strange it is. Saying goodbye to my daughter. I can't help thinking that in just a few moments I'll be seeing Anna, and no one knows or will ever know about it. I have 2 lives. One, open and seen by all who need to.
Full of relative truths and relative
Exactly
falsehoods.
like the lives of my friends and acquaintance. And another,
Private life.
lived in secrets. And through some strange
Perhaps accidental.
conjunction of circumstances, everything that is interesting, essential, and important to me, everything in which I am sincere and not deceiving myself, is hidden, whereas
All that is false. The shell behind which you hide yourself to conceal the truth.
my work at the bank, debates at the club,
Your inferior race.
escorting my wife to anniversary parties, is all in the open.
Each man lives his real, most interesting life in secret, unseen by others.
And I must judge others by my own situation, not by what I actually see. Everyone must live his own true, most fascinating life.
In secret. And this secret life sustains us, and is perhaps why so many civilized individuals so vigorously protect their privacy.
Counting the hours that all too slowly speed.
Earth has no grace that does not cling about her. Life has no charm, if mine she may not be. My favorite dress. How are you? You look pale. Tell me the news.
Wait a moment. I'll tell you then. I can't speak now.
I'll wait right here. I'm not going anywhere. Shall I ring for some tea?
I'm crying because it's so sad to have to live our lives this way. In secret. Hiding away all the time as if we were criminals.
Hush. Oh, hush.
A green oak by a curved seashore. And upon that oak a golden chain. Upon that
Would
oak
that I could
a golden
break
chain.
the cruel bonds that hold you. Snap every chain that keeps us two apart.
In the mirror, I saw how my hair had begun to gray. I looked older and plainer. Anna's quivering shoulders were still warm. I felt such compassion for this young life, still so warm and lovely, but fated to fade soon like my own.
You are so lovely. Why do you love me so much? Women have never seen me as I really am. Never loved me for myself, but only as the man they wanted me to be. The one they had been eagerly awaiting all their lives. When they discovered their mistake, they loved me anyway, but they were never happy with me. And it was never love. It was anything you like, but it was never love. And only now, when my hair is turning gray, have I truly fallen in love for the first time in my life.
Dmitri Dmitrovich and Anna Sergeyevna loved each other like kindred spirits, like husband and wife, like the dearest of friends. They knew that fate had intended them for each other, and it was inconceivable to them why she had a husband and he a wife. They were like a pair of migratory birds, mated for life, yet caught and forced to live apart in separate cages. They forgave each other for their past transgressions and for everything in the present. They felt their love had transformed them both.
There now, my darling. Don't cry. Let's talk. Let's work out a way we can be together. No more hiding. No more deceiving.
And living apart? Only seeing each other every now and then?
We will break free of these intolerable bonds. How?
How?
And it seemed as if in just a little while,
They would find a way.
and then
A new and splendid life would begin.
how? It was clear to them that a long, long journey lay ahead until the end. and the most complicated and difficult part had only just begun.